Good morning, everybody, and happy Hump Day, July 13th, 2022. And I'm in Love Language Minute. It's really interesting. I'm like writing notes, and when I started writing, I was like, I feel like I'm writing like the Geneva Bible. I didn't even realize I was doing it until I was already. I've been doing this for a while now, and I'm like, it kind of reminds me of my Geneva Bible. That it's really hard for me to. I'm gonna look at that maybe tonight when I'm reading my other Bible. Oh boy, I'm getting catch up. I'm more than halfway. I'm more than halfway through the Bible. So I need to get further because we're in July. So I have to zippity doo dah. So that's making me need to sleep more, which is fantastic because I need all the sleep I can get right now. So today's title is Setting Aside Times for Conflicts. This should be interesting. Better a dry crust eaten in peace than a house filled with feasting and conflict. Proverbs 17, verse 1. And isn't that the truth? And people always was sad for me. I'd be on the golf course, sitting outside, and loved all the staff and the waitresses. And I'd eat my dinner or lunch. Oh, it's so sad you're by yourself. I said, I'm never alone. Are you kidding me? I got peace and quiet. I've got a beautiful golf course I'm looking at, another gift from God. And I've got this fantastic staff that keeps visiting with me as they check on my table, and when they get low, they can come chat with me. I don't know about you, but it sounds like a pretty excellent equation to me. And I'm going to tell you right now, I had no turmoil and no stress. It was peace and enjoyment. Nobody was trying to steal my joy. No, instead, they'd rather do that and ask, oh, it's so sad. Why do you think it's sad that I'm eating by myself? Maybe you'd like to invite me out to dinner sometime. I don't know. There are other options. If you're worried and sad that I'm alone, then why don't you do something to help? Those people that say those things don't ever offer any kind of resolution to your situation or their situation. Because frankly, I didn't have a problem with it. I was fine going to the Elks. I loved going to the Elks. I'd be in the pool and I was like, you know what? I don't want to cook anything. I'm just gonna get in my car, my wet bathing suit, the cover up on, and go to the Elks. Because guess what? They had a swimming pool. So it didn't matter. I was sitting outside in a lawn chair that was metal, and it didn't matter if I had a wet butt anyway, because lots of people sat out there all day long because they were swimming in the pool. It was like having my own kitchen, but somebody else was cooking. Gotta love that. Do you ever feel like you are married to an alien? Okay, that wouldn't be good. Early in your relationship, you thought you were so compatible. In fact, you agreed on everything. That's never a good thing. You can't agree on everything. Now, perhaps you wonder how you ever got together because you are so different. Well, perhaps you should be real at the beginning. Welcome to the world of reality. The fact is, you are married to a human. Humans don't all think the same way and don't all feel the same way. In short, all human relationships include conflicts. The key is to learn constructive methods for reaching resolution when a conflict arises. Want to solve your conflicts? Here's an idea. Never discuss disagreements on the run. Rather, set aside time specifically for resolving conflicts. I suggest that once a week you have a conflict resolution session. Okay, really? Let's not store them up. You need to sit down and have a powwow. You may need to have one every freaking day. But you certainly don't need to store them up for a whole week and then sit down and hash up a whole lot of nonsense. You're better to deal with it while it's happening or shortly thereafter once the heat of the moment has completely diminished and gone out. And then speak your piece in a kind and loving manner like Jesus would do. It's not dang difficult to communicate properly to other humans, especially one that you are equally yoked with. That's the biggest thing that people need to be looking at in their mates. Is this someone that I'm equally yoked with, that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? And if the answer is yes, then by all means, you just run right off to the justice of peace and get married or whatever you want to do for your marriage. If you want to have a big production, then so be it. But that's what you need to do. That's my own personal advice. That's where I'm going to take out of this book and say, yeah, I disagree with that. I don't care. I value this person that wrote this book, or if there's multiple authors, I don't know. But what I will tell you is that is not healthy to store up all that in a week. Trust me. The rest of the week, try to focus on the things you like about each other. Make positive comments about your spouse. This creates a healthy climate in which to discuss your conflicts. Make positive comments about your spouse. This creates a healthy climate in which to discuss your conflicts. I'm thinking about what I want to say about that. When you set aside time to deal with conflict, you avoid having your house continually filled with angry words of frustration. A situation King Solomon clearly found unpalatable based on what we read above. When you allow room for peace, you will work through your conflicts one by one without destroying your relationship. Every resolved conflict brings you and your loved ones closer together. And I can tell you, don't store those up. You talk if you got a situation, you need to get it taken care of. You don't need to harbor those for a whole week. I can't even imagine some of the situations that I were involved in that had I held them up for that specific day, could you imagine? You wouldn't even want to have that day of the week. Let's just skip that day altogether because that's a day of conflict. And hopefully conflict resolution. But who's to say that's going to happen? That's why I'm saying I don't agree with this. And this is why. That's why you have to have your own mind. And you have to utilize what he gave us. These books are great tools. But they also need added interpretation. Could you imagine if everybody walked around the world like what this book that I've been reading out of? Or any of them? I mean, some of them are amazing. But this one, this is the one. If everybody walked around and took the advice from this one person, yipes. Now, don't get me wrong, this one person has great advice. But there's some things in here that I disagree with. And we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. That's what makes the world go round. I accept his expertise, and hopefully he would accept mine. I'm not trying to bash what he wrote. I am thrilled to death with this book. I love it. In fact, it's one of my favorites because I love the cover and I can't break it. Thus far, I have not broke this book. I break spines in books all the time because I like to move them around and fold them and all that stuff. So I just want to stress that you have to understand the magnitude of the hiccups in your relationship. I think a hiccup is a better adjective to use, verb to use, than conflict. Don't you? Because anytime people have hiccups, they laugh. We need to have another hiccup session. Okay, what did I do this time? As opposed to we need to have another conflict session, and hopefully we end up with resolution. Say what? Let's have a hiccup session. I got some things we can talk about. That sounds way better, don't you think? That's just me, though. I'm just trying to make this world a happier place. And if it's about hiccups, then so be it. Hannah had them the other day and it made me giggle. They kept looking at her. Hiccup. She was like, "What's going on with me?" It's so freaking funny. So lighten up, people, but lighten up in love, not in hate. We got enough of that. We need to start getting rid of that darkness and shining our lights. I love it when I have something that's a prop that's like right there and it fits into what I'm talking about. I love that. I'm like, the light. Oh, there's one. Anyhow, it's a party in my head. I'm telling you, every day is a party. And despite my hiccups, my ongoing hiccups, I still am me. I still have my Natalie upbeat personality. It's a part of me. It's who I am. I've been like this my whole life. So I just maybe don't have my pep in my step like I used to. It sounds like I would in my voice, but what I sound like and what I actually can do aren't the same. I've just grown to accept this little valley and pray for those peaks. Like yesterday with my pine needle tree and going, hello, I got a pine. Yeah, I can make pine needle. Say that real fast. That's a tongue twister. Pine needle tea. That's a mouthful. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned. I've got more coming up. Love to all bunches and bunches. Bye.